the ex-human pilot nobody wanted, buys an alien ship that refuses to obey. Once he had been a hero of the human fleet, celebrated for daring missions and fast thinking. Now he was just another ex-pilot nobody wanted. His last mission had gone wrong. Not entirely his fault, but the official report pinned the blame on him. Equipment malfunction. Poor intelligence, bad luck. None of it mattered. The bureaucracy had decided he was expendable, and suddenly Jerk had no rank, no friends in the fleet, and no reputation worth anything. He sighed and looked around. Other pilots laughed at a corner table. They talked about promotions, contracts, and their next adventures. Jerk had once belonged to that world. Now the universe seemed to have written him off. "Hey, Talon," a bartender called, breaking his thoughts. "You looking for work or just drinks?" Jerk gave a dry smile. "Drinks for now," the bartender shrugged. "Figures, don't see many people buying dreams these days anyway." Jerk had dreams, big ones, dangerous ones, but dreams cost money and his savings were nearly gone. He wondered if he would drift from station to station forever, taking odd jobs that barely paid for food, until he saw it on a hollow screen at a nearby auction terminal. It was an advertisement. "For sale, alien vessel Erivos, abandoned, requires competent pilot, no refunds." The vessel was unlike anything human engineering had ever created. Sleek lines, almost alive in appearance. Rumor had it that the ship was semi-sentient, capable of thinking for itself. Buyers had tried to command it and failed. Some had even been humiliated when the ship ejected them mid-flight. Most humans avoided it. Most aliens avoided it. But Jerk's curiosity lit a fire in him. "Maybe this is my chance," he whispered to himself. By the next day, he had scraped together every credit he had. The auction hall was grand, filled with wealthy traders, military officers, and alien collectors. Many were there to mock the human who dared bid on such a legendary ship. The auctioneer's voice boomed across the hall. "Starting bid, 5 million credits." Jerk swallowed hard. That was more than he had, but he had prepared a loan from an old contact and was ready. He stepped forward. 6 million, he said, voice steady. Laughter echoed. "A human," a tall alien snickered. "You think you can own Erivos?" Jerk ignored the jeers. He raised the bid to 7 million, then 8. Eventually, after tense minutes and alien traders dropping out, the gavel fell. The auctioneer's hammer pounded. "Sold to Captain Jerk Talon." Shock ran across the room. "A human," they whispered, laughed, and muttered. Some tried to argue the legitimacy, but the deal was done. Jerk had bought the impossible ship. The journey to claim Erivos was tense. The vessel lay docked in a remote, poorly lit station, silent and still. Its hull shimmered faintly, almost like it breathed. Jerk felt both awe and nervousness as he stepped aboard. As soon as he activated the control panel, the ship reacted violently. Alarms blared. Lights flashed. The floor panels shifted under his feet. "What the?" Jerk stumbled backward. Then a deep, resonant voice filled the cockpit. Not spoken words, but thoughts in his mind, alien yet comprehensible. "Who dares claim me?" Jerk froze. I'm Jerk Talon. I bought you. I want to pilot you." Silence. Then the ship vibrated as if laughing or testing him. "Prove your worth. Obey and I obey. Fail and I eject." Jerk's stomach tightened. He realized quickly that force or authority would not work here. This was not a machine that obeyed orders. It was a partner, a judge, maybe even a being. He spent hours learning the controls, careful not to make mistakes. Each button and screen seemed alive, responding to him in unexpected ways. It was exhausting. Some systems he tried to access simply locked him out, refusing to acknowledge him. By nightfall, he had made little progress. Frustrated, he leaned back in the pilot's chair. "Why me?" he muttered. "Why now?" Then an emergency alert flashed across the console. Nearby, a cargo vessel had caught fire, threatening a small dock full of alien workers. The automated station defenses were offline. Without thinking, Jerk acted. He maneuvered Erivos into position, extending a small rescue drone. The drone docked with the cargo vessel and began evacuating the trapped crew. Jerk could feel the ship's hesitation, almost as if it was judging his decision, but the drone worked and the aliens were saved. Interesting, the ship's voice or thought echoed. Courage and compassion, perhaps worthy. Jerk exhaled. Sweat dripped down his brow. Is that respect? He asked softly. Do not presume, yet cooperation may continue. For the first time the ship powered up fully. Its engines thrummed softly, a sound almost like purring. Screens that had once been locked now displayed complex alien schematics, maps of star systems, and hidden compartments filled with advanced technology. Jerk realized that this was no ordinary ship. Erivos chose its pilot carefully, and he had passed the first test. But he also understood that this was just the beginning. Rivals would come. Humans would underestimate him. Aliens would see him as a joke. And somewhere in the galaxy, real threats were waiting, oblivious to the small human who had dared to claim a vessel nobody else could control. He sat in the cockpit for hours, studying the ship. He practiced every maneuver he could imagine. Every success was rewarded with a subtle hum or glow from the ship. Every mistake caused minor corrections from Erivos, never punishing but always testing. Jerk Talon smiled for the first time in years. Maybe, he said quietly, I'm not done yet. Maybe I still have a place in this universe. Outside the station, stars stretched endlessly. Inside, a human and an alien ship, bound not by commands but by mutual respect, prepared for the adventures and dangers that lay ahead. Somewhere deep in the ship systems, an ancient intelligence stirred, recognizing the potential of the human before it. Jerk didn't yet know it, but the galaxy would soon take notice of the pilot nobody wanted, and the ship that refused to obey. The first test had been passed. But larger tests for survival, for skill, for humanity itself, were coming. And Jerk Talon was ready, or at least, he hoped he was. The stars stretched endlessly outside the viewport as Jerk Talon sat in the cockpit of Erivos. The ship hummed softly, a sound that had become comforting over the past days. He no longer felt like a lonely outcast. He had earned the ship's tentative respect, but he also knew this respect was conditional. Erivos was not just a machine, it was intelligent, deliberate, and capable of judgment. All right, Jerk whispered, fingers brushing the controls. Let's see what you can really do. Erivos responded by illuminating hidden panels across the cockpit, revealing complex alien schematics that no human had ever seen. Stars and star systems, hidden jump points, weapon arrays, and energy flows were all mapped with perfect precision. It was overwhelming, but Jerk's training had taught him to adapt quickly. He spent hours studying the ship's systems, learning how to manipulate the alien technology without triggering defense protocols. Each correct move elicited a soft hum of approval. Each mistake caused subtle corrections by the ship itself. You're not so stubborn after all, Jerk muttered. Just cautious. The first real test came unexpectedly. A nearby human colony, Talon's old home system, sent out a distress signal. Pirates had attacked the colony's shipping fleet and civilian ships were being destroyed. Jerk stared at the alert. Talon Station. He hadn't been back in years. Memories of his failed mission and the shame of being abandoned by his own fleet surged up, but he pushed them aside. This was his chance to prove himself, not just to Erivos but to the galaxy. Ready? He asked the ship. I do not follow orders blindly, but I will observe, came the thought-like voice. Jerk took a deep breath. The only way to save the colony was to cooperate with Erivos, not command it. He had to think and act as a team. The pirates, as they approached the colony, Jerk saw the pirate ships in orbit, sleek, armed with energy cannons and ruthless. Dozens of them swarmed the unarmed civilian freighters. Conventional tactics would have been suicidal. A direct attack was impossible. Jerk's mind raced. He remembered how Erivos had responded to creativity and selflessness, not force. He quickly devised a plan. Erivos will create a trap, he said. I'll lure the pirates toward that asteroid field. You cover our retreat and anything that gets too close. Interesting, the ship responded. Human improvisation, acceptable. They moved as one. Jerk piloted Erivos with precision, weaving through asteroid belts and narrow channels. The pirates followed, confident that a single human ship was no threat. They didn't realize that Erivos could think faster than any human, and that Jerk's unpredictability made him dangerous. As predicted, the pirates became trapped in the asteroid field, their ships colliding with debris or each other. Erivos used silent plasma bursts to disable weapons, all without killing unnecessarily. Jerk watched the operation unfold like a conductor of a deadly symphony. The civilians escaped unharmed while the pirates were neutralized or forced to flee. Impressive, the ship's voice said. You understand risk, you value life, perhaps worthy of command. Jerk allowed himself a small smile. Not command, he said, teamwork. The ship's purpose after the battle, Erivos projected an alien holographic map. In the center was a massive star system, with glowing lines indicating energy flows and movement of fleets. Jerk realized the map was tracking a much larger threat than pirates. Erivos, what is this? He asked. Vorak swarm, machine life, consumes planets, ships, systems, entire civilizations, the ship's thought-like voice replied. We were built to stop them, but humans are unpredictable, clever, brave. Perhaps the only species capable of understanding strategy at all levels. Jerk's stomach tightened. The galaxy had threats beyond imagination, and now he was staring at one of the deadliest. But he also felt something he hadn't in years: hope, purpose. He realized that owning Erivos was not just about survival. It was about proving that humans could rise to challenges no one else could face. Training together over the following days, Jerk and Erivos worked to synchronize. It was not easy. Erivos would sometimes refuse commands, requiring Jerk to think creatively. For example, when he tried to scan a nearby derelict ship, Erivos refused. Jerk realized the ship wanted him to observe and understand the environment first. He took a slower approach, studying alien markings and environmental patterns. Only when he showed understanding did Erivos grant access. The more Jerk adapted to the ship, the more the ship adapted to him. They became a team that learned from each other, human intuition meeting alien precision. During one practice run, Jerk piloted through a field of unstable asteroids while Erivos guided defensive shields in real time. Every misstep was corrected in milliseconds. Every successful maneuver was acknowledged by a soft glow in the cockpit. I think we understand each other, Jerk said one night, exhaustion heavy in his voice. You test me, I adapt, we survive together. Perhaps, came the response. You show cleverness, judgment, courage. We will see if you can face the real challenge. First contact, the first real threat, appeared sooner than expected. A small Vorak scout fleet, fast and deadly, entered the human sector. These ships were designed for destruction, unfeeling and relentless. The human colonies had no chance if left alone. Jerk gripped the controls. Erivos, this is it. Are you ready? I do not obey blindly, but I will act if you prove your intent, the ship replied. Using the strategies he had learned from Erivos, Jerk devised traps and diversions. He used small asteroid clusters to shield colonies and create chokepoints. Erivos responded with silent, precise attacks, disabling scout ships without direct confrontation. It was a success, but only partially. The Vorak were more advanced than anything humans had fought before. Jerk realized that brute force was useless. Every encounter required strategy, adaptability, and courage. For the first time, humans, through Jerk, had impressed an alien intelligence with ingenuity and unpredictability. Erivos recognized that humans could think beyond algorithmic logic. That recognition was rare in the galaxy. Rising reputation. News of a human piloting an alien vessel spread quickly. Traders, colonists, and rival factions began sending messages, warnings, and offers. Most thought it was a stunt. Others wanted to capture Erevos for themselves. Jerk ignored most of the messages. He focused on the tasks at hand, learning the ship, understanding the Vorak threat, and protecting colonies. But he realized that humanity's reputation was about to change. A single exiled pilot, underestimated by everyone, was starting to show the galaxy what humans were capable of. At night, Jerk sat in the cockpit, staring at the stars. He thought about the human fleet that had discarded him, the aliens that had laughed at his bid, and the small, fragile colonies depending on him. He smiled faintly. They all think I'm nothing, but they don't understand humans. We survive. We adapt. We fight when others flee. We think, Erevos hummed softly, almost in agreement. Observation, humans are clever, resourceful, worthy, but the challenge grows. Larger threats loom. Decisions will test courage, morality, and skill. Are you prepared? Jerk's jaw tightened. I don't know if I'm ready. But I don't have a choice. If I don't act, no one will, not my fleet, not the colonies, not even the galaxy. But together, he tapped the control panel. Together, we might have a chance. The ship glowed, and for the first time its voice seemed almost respectful. We shall see, human, we shall see. Cliffhanger ending for Part 2, a distant sensor ping alerted them to a massive energy signature. Not a scout fleet this time. Something immense and terrifying. A Vorak mothership heading straight for the human sector. Its size dwarfed entire cities. Its weapons could obliterate colonies in minutes. Jerk stared at the screen. His mind raced. Humans had never faced such a threat, but he wasn't afraid, not completely. Not while he had Erevos. Not while he had proven that humans could do what no one else thought possible. This is it, he whispered. The real test begins. Erevos thrummed in response, the entire ship seeming alive with tension. This was no longer a game or practice. The survival of humans and perhaps the galaxy depended on them working together. And for the first time, Jerk Talon felt truly alive. The stars burned cold and silent outside the viewport of Erevos. Captain Jerk Talon gripped the controls, eyes scanning the holographic displays. In the distance, an enormous shadow loomed, the Vorak mothership. It was massive, far larger than any human ship, and bristling with weapons that could destroy an entire planet. Jerk's stomach tightened. He remembered every warning the galaxy had ever whispered about the Vorak, unstoppable, relentless, and devoid of mercy. Most fleets would have fled, but Jerk did not. Not this time. Not while Erevos hummed beside him, alive and alert. We've trained for this, haven't we? He whispered to the ship. We act together, human, but do not presume victory. Only survival may be possible, came the thought-like voice. Jerk swallowed hard. Survival was enough, but he had other plans. Humans were clever. Humans were unpredictable. Humans fought in ways no algorithm could calculate. The approach as they closed the distance, Jerk studied the mothership. It moved deliberately, scanning for life, detecting energy signatures with deadly precision. A single direct assault would be suicide. He had to outthink it, not overpower it. He traced the energy lines across the Vorak ship's hull and noticed weak points between weapon arrays. But those weak points were guarded by overlapping fields of automated drones. He would need a plan that combined human intuition with Erevos' alien tech. Erevos will split their attention. I'll create decoys to lure the drones away. You strike at the core when they're distracted. Risk high. Success unlikely, the ship responded, its tone cautious. But human unpredictability may work. Jerk smiled faintly. Unlikely doesn't mean impossible. The battle begins. He activated a series of drones he had secretly salvaged from previous Vorak encounters. Each drone emitted a false energy signature, drawing the attention of the Vorak defense systems. The mothership reacted instantly, redirecting its automated drones toward the decoys. Erivo's glowed and its weapons charged. Jerk could feel the ship's intelligence flowing through him. It was no longer a machine he controlled. It was a partner, understanding his intentions before he acted. With a deep breath, he plunged Erivos into the heart of the Vorak fleet. The alien ship moved fluidly, unpredictably, dodging energy blasts, weaving between weapons fire. Jerk had never piloted anything like this before. Every human instinct, every split-second decision mattered. They reached the first weak point. Erivo's extended plasma arms slicing through drone fields with precision. Jerk guided the attack, improvising as new Vorak defenses emerged. The ship hummed in approval, adjusting shields automatically. "You anticipate well, human. Clever." Jerk gritted his teeth. Clever was good, but he needed extraordinary. Human ingenuity versus machine logic. The Vorak were machines, predictable in their logic. They followed patterns, analyzed threats, and acted efficiently. But humans did not follow patterns. Jerk led Erivos in maneuvers that defied logic, looping in unexpected arcs, splitting attacks, retreating mid-engagement, then striking from blind spots. Erivos adapted, its alien systems interpreting his improvisation, turning human unpredictability into a weapon. Each calculated risk paid off. Drones were destroyed, shields bypassed, and energy arrays overloaded. Jerk shouted, exhilaration mixing with fear. They never expected this. Observation. Humans are dangerous when ignored, Erivos replied. You prove worthy in action, not just intention. The Vorak mothership began to falter, confused by the unpredictability of a human-led assault. Systems overloaded, energy bursts misfired, and some drones turned against their own fleet due to miscalculated commands. Jerk allowed himself a brief grin. This was what humans did best: think differently, act boldly, survive when others fail. The turning point. Despite their success, the Vorak mothership remained massive and deadly. Jerk knew they couldn't simply attack it head-on forever. He needed a decisive move. Studying the ship's energy cores, he realized that the central reactor was vulnerable. If disabled, the entire vessel could collapse. But reaching it meant navigating through swarms of drones and energy defenses. "Erivos," he whispered, "we go for the core, full risk. Full cooperation acknowledged. Execute human strategy." They dove toward the heart of the Vorak ship. The defense drones swarmed, but Erivos moved like liquid metal, twisting and turning with precision. Jerk's quick thinking allowed them to bypass predictable traps, forcing the drones to waste energy and attention. Finally, they reached the core. Erivos extended an energy conduit, merging alien technology with human intuition, overloading the reactor in a controlled explosion. The ship shuddered violently and the mothership's systems began to collapse. Jerk held on tight, hearts pounding. The explosion rocked the Vorak vessel, ripping apart sections of the hull. Drones exploded outward, systems failed, and the mothership was neutralized. They had done it. Against impossible odds, humans and Erivos had triumphed. Aftermath. The galaxy was stunned. News spread faster than light-speed messages could travel. A human, a single exiled pilot, had defeated a Vorak scout fleet and a mothership. Governments, corporations, and alien factions scrambled to understand what had happened. Reports emphasized not just the power of the ship, but the creativity, courage, and strategy of its human pilot. Jerk, exhausted but elated, sat in the cockpit. Erivos hummed quietly, systems stabilizing after the intense battle. Observation. Humans are unlike other species, clever, adaptable, brave beyond expectation, perhaps worthy allies in defense of the galaxy. Jerk smiled. We're more than survival. We think, we adapt, we rise to challenges others can't even imagine. Acknowledged, the ship said. Human and ship effective, partnership validated. Reputation restored. Jerk's name, once discarded and mocked, became legendary. Fleet commanders requested his advice. Colonies invited him as a hero. Aliens who had laughed at him now extended respect, even fear. Humanity had shown the galaxy that even a single human, underestimated and abandoned, could change the course of events with courage and intellect. But Jerk did not let fame distract him. He knew the galaxy was full of threats far greater than pirates or even a Vorax scout fleet. He had Erevos, a ship alive with intelligence, and together they would continue to protect, explore, and challenge. He remembered the first day he had stepped aboard Erevos. Then it had tested him. Now it had chosen him as a true partner. Together they were unstoppable, not because of weapons or brute force, but because of trust, strategy, and courage. Humans, yeah. Sitting in the cockpit, staring at the stars, Jerk reflected on everything that had happened. The fleet that had discarded him, the enemies that underestimated him, the galaxy that doubted humans. Now the galaxy would remember. Humans were more than fighters. They were thinkers, survivors, innovators, and brave enough to face challenges no one else could. Erevos, he said softly, we've done something incredible, but this is only the beginning. Agreed, the galaxy is vast, threats are many. But humans are different, clever, bold, worthy. We will face what comes together. Jerk smiled, gripping the controls. Ahead lay countless stars, countless dangers, and countless opportunities. For the first time in years, he felt truly alive. And somewhere in the distant reaches of space, the galaxy learned a lesson it would never forget. Never underestimate a human. Never doubt their courage, their ingenuity, or their will to survive. The ex-human pilot nobody wanted had become a legend. The alien ship that refused to obey had found a pilot worthy of its trust. Together, they would patrol the stars, face dangers no one else dared, and prove once again, humans were capable of greatness. Jerk Talon leaned back in the pilot's chair, letting Erevos glide through space. He was not alone. He was not powerless. And for the first time, he truly believed that the impossible was possible for humans, for him, and for the galaxy.